Welcome to our channel, where we dive into the timeless stories of cinema. Today, we're focusing on one of Hollywood's greatest legends, Charlie Chaplin. His contribution to the golden age of Hollywood is unmatched, leaving a legacy that still resonates today. Get ready as we explore 20 weird and fascinating facts about Chaplin's career, from his iconic Tramp character to his groundbreaking films that changed the face of cinema forever. Charlie Chaplin was born in 1889, at a time when cinema was still in its infancy. By the time the golden age of Hollywood hit in the 1920s, Chaplin had already become an international sensation. His iconic Tramp character was beloved by audiences around the world, but it was his work during the golden age that solidified his place in film history. One of the most fascinating aspects of Chaplin's career is that his most iconic character, the Tramp, wasn't even planned. It was an accident. While preparing for a short film, Chaplin was handed a costume that included baggy pants, a bowler hat, and a toothbrush mustache. He put it all together and instantly knew it was something special. This character would become synonymous with Charlie Chaplin for decades to come. Chaplin was one of the few filmmakers who truly controlled every aspect of his work. He didn't just act, he wrote, directed, produced, and even composed the music for his films. City Lights, 1931, for example, was a masterpiece not only because of its emotional depth, but because Chaplin composed the score himself, making it one of the first silent films to feature an original score. Speaking of City Lights, it's a classic that would become one of the greatest silent films ever made. Even in the early 1930s, when sound films were becoming the norm, Chaplin stuck with his silent approach. His decision to remain loyal to silent cinema allowed the film to speak through universal emotions and breathtaking physical comedy. The heart-wrenching final scene in City Lights is a testament to Chaplin's ability to evoke deep emotions without a single word. Despite the success of City Lights, Chaplin's decision to stick with silent films during the rise of sound films caused a great deal of tension. Some critics believed he was holding on to the past for it. But Chaplin's genius was in his ability to express universal human emotions through visual storytelling, making the transition to sound unnecessary for him. As the golden age of Hollywood progressed, Chaplin's ability to blend comedy with social commentary became even more pronounced. In Modern Times, 1936, Chaplin addressed the dehumanizing effects of industrialization. The famous factory scene, where his character is swallowed up by machines, was not just a comedic moment. It was a critique of the growing mechanization of society. One of the most bizarre facts about Chaplin's films is that he often used his own life experiences to inform his work. The Tramp character, for example, was inspired by Chaplin's own tough childhood. Growing up in poverty, Chaplin knew firsthand the struggles of the working class, and he channeled that into the Tramp, a character who, despite facing the harshest circumstances, remained endlessly optimistic. Chaplin's life off-screen was just as eventful as the films he made. In the 1940s, Chaplin was accused of being a communist by the U.S. government during the McCarthy era, leading to his exile from America. This was a man who had always spoken out against injustice, using his films to champion the oppressed and challenge societal norms. But despite being exiled from the U.S., Chaplin continued making films in Europe, never stopping his creative work. Chaplin's relationship with his audience was complicated. As much as he was beloved, his fame often felt like a burden. In fact, he had a deeply cynical view of celebrity culture, which is reflected in the way he portrayed the Tramp. The Tramp was never someone who enjoyed the spotlight. Instead, he was often a figure of ridicule or pity, yet his unwavering resilience made him universally loved. The film The Great Dictator, 1940, marked a turning point for Chaplin. In it, he parodied Adolf Hitler, making a bold statement against fascism during a time when the world was on the brink of World War II. The film's climactic speech, where Chaplin as the dictator speaks passionately about peace and democracy, remains one of the most powerful moments in cinematic history. But what many don't know is that Chaplin was also deeply involved in the business side of Hollywood. In 1919, he co-founded United Artists, a film studio that allowed filmmakers more creative control and independence. This was a groundbreaking move, as the major studios at the time controlled almost every aspect of film production. Chaplin's United Artists was the precursor to many independent production companies today. Another weird fact about Chaplin is that he once had a legal battle over the rights to the Tramp character. During his early days, he had signed a contract with the Mutual Film Corporation that gave them exclusive rights to the character. But Chaplin, ever the savvy businessman, eventually regained control of the Tramp and started producing films under his own terms, which gave him more freedom to experiment and create. Although Chaplin's work often seemed lighthearted, it was his uncanny ability to capture deep human truths that set his films apart. In The Kid, 1921, Chaplin's portrayal of a poor man who adopts an orphan child touched on themes of love, poverty, and survival, making it one of the most emotional silent films ever made. One of Chaplin's most famous sequences comes from The Gold Rush, 1925, where he's seen eating his boot in a desperate attempt to survive in the wilderness. This hilarious scene, which involved Chaplin chewing on a boot made of licorice, is one of the most iconic moments in film history, showcasing his impeccable physical comedy skills. Chaplin also had a reputation for being a perfectionist. Many of his scenes required hours of rehearsal, and some took days to get just right. For instance, the famous roller skate scene from The Circus, 1928, where Chaplin's character nearly falls off a balcony while skating, was filmed over a period of weeks to ensure that the timing and precision were flawless. Despite the chaos of the Hollywood system, Chaplin always remained a master of his craft, shaping every detail of his films. He even insisted on having final say over his film's music and sound, ensuring that his movies reflected his vision and style without compromise. Chaplin's contribution to the film industry didn't just stop with his films. His influence can still be seen in filmmakers today. Directors like Tim Burton, Woody Allen, and even Quentin Tarantino have cited Chaplin's films as major inspirations. His approach to storytelling, blending humor with deep social commentary, continues to influence filmmakers worldwide. It's also worth noting that despite his massive success, Chaplin was constantly under pressure to reinvent himself. After all, the Hollywood landscape was changing rapidly, and Chaplin's traditional style of comedy could easily have been overshadowed. Yet, he always managed to stay relevant, evolving with each film, while still maintaining the innocence and purity of the Tramp character. Chaplin's legacy remains one of the most enduring in film history. His films continue to be celebrated, studied, and enjoyed by audiences of all ages. He wasn't just a comedian. He was a revolutionary filmmaker who changed the way we view cinema. So there you have it, Charlie Chaplin's legacy in the golden age of Hollywood. From his accidental creation of the Tramp to his mastery of silent film, Chaplin's contributions to cinema are still felt today. His work was not just funny, it was deeply human, filled with empathy, and timeless in its messages. If you enjoyed learning these weird facts about Chaplin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating Hollywood stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.